Good morning and hi everyone. My name is Carly Bell and I am so excited to be starting our first Sip and Stitch of 2026. So welcome everyone. If you're new here, I'm so excited you are joining us, and thanks for all of my friends who have been with me for a while. My name is Carly Bell. I love to do machine embroidery tutorials from start to finish. And so we get together once a month, usually about the fourth Friday of every month, for a live tutorial showing you all the nitty-gritty details, and we call it Sip and Stitch. So grab your beverage of choice depending on what time of day you are watching. Unfortunately, I've been doing these in the morning for the past couple of years, so coffee is my drink. But if you're watching at night, make yourself something good. So just want to stop for a second and say hi to everyone in the chat. I see Renee and Dee and Sherry and Patty and Sandra and Michelle. Thank y'all so much for joining me. When I tried to turn the live on, I got some kind of error message saying Facebook is not cooperating. So I apologize for any of our friends that were trying to watch on Facebook. I did, right before I went live, I went and posted in our Facebook group, and I shared the YouTube link. So if y'all see anyone on Facebook asking where is the live for today, please share with them the YouTube link and tell them Facebook is not working for some reason. So good morning. All right. Yay. So who is excited to try some new things in 2026? Because I know that I am. Like every year it's like I have a new like aspiration, and I'm still playing catch up from like aspirations I had 2 years ago. I really like trying to dive in and make things that I haven't made before. And today that's what we're going to do. We're going to combine machine embroidery and sewing. Now, typically the project we're making today would be all sewing, right? But someone like myself that had no sewing background before I got into embroidery, sewing was very intimidating for me. But lately, this past year, I've gotten a lot better with my sewing skills, and I'm attempting to make a full size, lap throw quilt, a big one for me. Um, so I'm trying to keep improving on my sewing skills. And today's project, we are going to do the bulk of the work in the hoop on the embroidery machine, but then we're going to take out the sewing machine and just sew up some of the final things. Very straight line, very simple. So I'm going to show you how to do all that today. And the project I chose, I found it on Sweet Pea Embroidery, and it is a quilted fabric basket. So how cute is this, guys? It has a little fold over lip that we're going to make, and then it is fully lined, and you can put whatever you want inside. So like right now I have all my Wonder Clips. The project is done in 3 separate hoopings. So I'm going to show you all that today. And then once you have your 3 separate hoopings, that's when we'll use the sewing machine to kind of put things together. And there are lots of fun options with this basket as well. So I'm going to show you all the things. I'm going to show you how we could change it up and play with it. I was playing with it this morning. I was like, I want to do something different this time. So the sample I'm showing you here, that's great for like clips. And I'm also thinking about putting one at each of my machines for like thread and trash and scraps and those kinds of things. This was made in the 5x7 hoop. So you still get a nice size even in as little as a 5x7 hoop. I don't think there is a 4x4 hoop option. Let me double check. I got my paper. No, yeah, the smallest is 5x7. So you need at least a 5x7 hoop, and then you can make this size. But today I'm making this, that we're doing the tutorial on my Brother PR1X, which has an 8x12 max size hoop and embroidery field. So we're making a big one today. So I'm excited to see how big the 8x12 hoop one's going to be compared to this one. And I'm thinking it's going to be great for like folding all like my fat quarters and my smaller pieces of fabric. and having them all in a basket, or we can use the basket for like ongoing projects that we have where we could kind of keep everything contained in one place. And then, you know, I'm thinking about all of this for just sewing and craft stuff, but we can use these all around our house, in our bathroom, in our bedrooms, you know, in the living room, like in your, you know, wherever your office supplies. Like there's so many places that we can make and use these. Cause I don't know about you, but I've been like clean out and organize mode since New Year's Day. Like I went, pew, it just turns on New Year's Day. And I'm like, we need to clean everything. We need to get rid of everything. We need to organize everything. So this is helping. And we get to make something in the process. All right, I see Patty say she loves the fabric. Okay, so I got to tell y'all, this is the cutest fabric. I bought this fabric like years ago, and I don't think I've used it but to make one project. With the little pinwheels, this is Riley Blake, is the designer. I don't know, because Riley Blake has all kinds of designers. I know it's Riley Blake fabric. And it looks like pinwheels already pieced together, but it's just one solid fabric. But I love this, and I thought it would be perfect. Today we're going to do something a little different. I'll show you. But you can pick whatever fabrics that you want. And there are some options that if you want to piece together something and not just be one solid fabric at the bottom, they have some options for that too. So, and I apologize in advance if y'all hear my dog crying. It's because he decided right when I started the live video that he wants to go lay in Abigail's bed, and he can't jump in Abigail's bed. So he gets very mad about it because his little legs aren't working that great. I may step out and go put him in the bed in a second. Let's see. Joanna says, kind of looks like may possibly be Lori Holt fabric. Yeah, I was thinking that too. Maybe Lori Holt. I have to go find the rest of the piece and see if they have the on the selvage, if they have who the designer is. So if we have time at the end, we'll do that. Okay. So in the meantime, I'm going to go put Ozzy in the bed. I want you to grab, you can use all the same fabric if you want. I'm using 3 different fabrics, one for the basket, one for the liner, and one for this little lip. If you want to do some patch piecework for the bottom, you can use multiple kinds of fabric. And then you're also going to need 2 pieces of batting, which I apologize because I realized this morning I didn't have batting on the supply list on the Sip and Stip homepage, which as a remind you, if you have any questions about any of the things that we're doing today, where I got them from, the actual link to the design we're making, all of that can be found on the Sip and Stitch homepage, which is here. Okay, so you can see it at the bottom here. So you just go to my website, carlybell.com. You'll see an icon for Sip and Stitch, or you can go directly to the page by doing the /sip-in-stitch, and that will take you to the home page. That is going to show you the latest project. So if you're tuning in, we're in January of 2026. If you're tuning in, you know, a few months down the road, this project will not be at the top, but I will make a blog post for all of our Sip and Stitches. So it'll have like one page dedicated to it, but you can scroll and see. It'll have links to all of the supplies I'm using and the design. All right. Sit tight 1 second. I'm going to go get Ozzy. Come on. I'm going to tell everyone hi. No, I just want to cry. Okay, lay down. Okay. I know he will cry at my door for the next hour if I don't go do that for him. All right, so let's go over supplies. I'm sorry, I'm a little rusty. I feel like, even though it's only been a month since I've done this, because it's a new year, I feel like completely rusty on what I'm doing. All right, so let's go to the craft table. And these are some pages I printed. So it comes with some beautiful PDF instructions, right? And shows you step by step. But I know, like, I'm a visual person. I like to watch people make things. But this is good to have as a reference. And the first few pages are telling you, depending on what hoop size you are using and which option of the basket you're making, the cuts of fabric that you will need. So today I am doing the 8x12 plain basket. So let me show you actually what the other ones look like so y'all can decide which one you want to do. Let me make this big and show you my screen. Okay, so this is the PDF instructions. Let's see. All right, this is the plain one. This one here with the blue and the light blue, that is a stripe option. So there's going to be like several strips of fabric done that you piece together actually in the hoop and get a pieced stripped look there. And then this option's a little hard to tell, but there are 3 different fabrics and it's kind of a patchwork look. And each of the pieces of patchwork have a different quilting done on top of them. And you could probably see it a little better. Sorry, I'm gonna scroll. Okay, so there's the strip one. And you can see it's kind of the fold and flip method if you've ever done any piecing in the hoop. It's really simple to lay down your fabric and then pull it over and then it tacks it in place. Okay, so that's the strip look. And then it's the front and the back. We'll get to it. Okay, here's the patchwork one. So here there are 3 pieces. And then each piece will get its own quilting. And then we're making the solid one. So I figured that start off with the simple one. And if you'd like to do the strip or the patchwork one, it's almost the same procedure as what we're doing today. It's just that you'll use more pieces of fabric and they'll have more steps when you're making the front and back with where you're putting fabric down. It's going to tack it. You put it right side down, it's going to tack it, and then you pull it over, and then it will just tack the edges. All right, so for today's basket, I am using, this is my front, the bottom outer part of my basket is this. Then this is going to be my lining. This is kind of an ombre-ish fabric. That's going to be the lining. And then this is my fold over lip on the top of the basket is going to be this purple. So those are my 3 fabrics that I chose. And then I have 2 pieces of batting. So you're going to need 2 pieces for the bottom outside of the basket, 2 pieces for the lip that goes around the top, and then 2 pieces for the lining. Now, you do 3 designs essentially in 3 hoopings. The first design is going to be the front of the basket. We're going to stitch out the front. Then we're going to unhoop it, take it out, and trim it. Then we're going to start over and we're going to load the back of the design and stitch that out. And then there's a step where we will take our front one that we already stitched and trimmed and lay it right on top of the back one. And then it's going to tack it down. So you'll have like right sides together and it will tack it. And then you will take it out and cut it. And then the lining is 1 hooping and it's kind of the same thing. You hoop, you put down 1 piece of lining like this, and then you're going to lay the other piece of lining down right on top of it, and it's going to stitch out the basket design. So those are our 3 hoopings. The batting is only going to be used for the front and the back. The lip is totally constructed on your sewing machine, so this won't be needed for any of the embroidery hooping parts. Okay. Now, so we talked about the 3 kinds of fabric. So whatever the outside of your basket is going to be, the lining of your basket, and the batting, all of those are essentially the same size if you're doing the plain basket like I am. If you're doing the strips or the patchwork, the only thing that's different is your front of basket pieces will be smaller and more options. And then you'll also have 2 pieces of the outer lip, and that's going to be based on what size basket you are making. Just follow those instructions. But according to the instructions, fabric A is going to be what's the bottom outside of your basket. Fabric B is the lining. That's the inside of your basket. And fabric C is what they're calling the basket top section, or the fold over bit. So A, B, C. All right, so now let's talk about the hoop and stabilizer. So I'm using my 8x12 hoop. This came with my Brother machine, and for anyone not familiar, let's see, this is my Brother PR1X. This is a single needle free arm machine. So it's built like a multi-needle, but it actually only has one needle. It's great. This was what I upgraded to. Like, I started off with a PE 800, or actually 770, an older model. And this was the machine I upgraded to, my second machine. It was because I, of course, wanted a multi-needle, but I could not afford a multi-needle. And this is a great middle of the road option that gives you all of the wonderful features like a free arm multi-needle machine does, but just without all the needles. And I'm fine with changing thread color. So this machine is a really, really great option for those of y'all wanting to upgrade from a flatbed machine, but a multi-needle is just not in your price range. Actually, when I did this, I got the older version of this, the Persona. It's almost exactly the same, but it had a smaller hoop size. It was 8x8. And then they redid it and came out with a newer model, and I traded in my Persona for this one. So the Persona is also an excellent choice if you are wanting to upgrade the flatbed. The big difference between the Persona and this one is the hoop size. The Persona was 8x8 was the max hoop size, and this one's 8x12. And I tell you, that is actually a huge difference, getting that 8x12 hoop. All right, now, does that mean, do you have to have a machine that looks like this to make this project? Absolutely not. This can be done on your normal flatbed, PE 800, whatever embroidery machine you have. This project can be made on it. Just the hoop looks different and the machine looks different, but all the steps are exactly the same. Okay, so I don't want you to think that you can't make this if you don't have a big old machine. No, this can be made in regular old flatbed machines. All right, let me see. I need to fix my screen because I can't see things. Sorry, give me a second. Hey, Miss Joy. Okay, so she said, does this machine have a hat hoop? Yes, it does. So you see this contraption here on the side? This is for my cap driver. It's a kind of a hooping station. So like I said, you get like all the functionality of a multi-needle, including being able to hoop and stitch on structured hats. And the same hat hoops that fit on the Brother and Baby Lock multi-needles fit on this machine. Oh, yay. Tracy is going to the Impressions Expo in Long Beach tomorrow. Yay. I went to that a few years ago. It's a really, really fun expo to go to. There's so many cool things there, like even, beyond embroidery, they have all the printing and screen, like the DTF and the screen printing and all kinds of cool stuff. And then they have all the fancy embroidery machines. So yeah, go look for a machine. Actually, at the Impressions Expo, I found it's a lot of multi-head machines. So like, say you got a 10 needle, but it's like 4 10 needles in one big machine, they have a lot of those, but they do have some of the regular 10 needles and regular 12 and 15. I don't know if they'll even have anything. Well, some companies like SWF, I think Blaine's going to be out there. My friend Blaine Austin, who now works for Stitch It International, they are the main distributor of SWF embroidery machines. They have a 7 needle, and then they have a 12 and a 15, and then probably a lot bigger. You can go see him. I think he's going to be there. I know Racoma's there. I know when I went with Blaine a few years ago when he still worked at Sewing Machines Plus, I worked at the Brother booth. So Brother might have their own booth, and then they'll have the machine I'm showing you we had at that show, and the 6 needle and the 10 needle. What other companies? Happy Japan's probably there. They have a 7 needle and then bigger. I think Tajima will be there. Melco's there because Angela Jasmina will be there. She always works at the Melco booth. So yeah, I hope you have a lot of fun. You're going to find all kind of good things. But yeah, go talk to everyone, get all the info on the different machines so that you can help figure out which one's the best one for you. Okay. I'm just checking the chat. Sorry, I'm way behind. Way behind. Okay. All right. So, oh yeah, and Miss Joy said, don't forget to talk. So the Road to California is a show I've never been to. I was supposed to go last year, and then California got set on fire, and New Orleans got a snowstorm. So like all the elements did not allow me to go, unfortunately. But yeah, I've heard from especially my friend Norma that the Road to California show is amazing. Okay. All right, where am I? Okay, back to project. Now, whatever size basket you are making, get that hoop out, whatever one it is. And then I want you to grab a piece of normal cutaway stabilizer. Okay, and then all you have to do is hoop your stabilizer. And that's it. You're ready to go. Now, I have a horrible habit of always putting my hoops on in the wrong direction on my free arm machines. So I have not marked this hoop yet, but I'm going to grab a hoop that I do have a mark and remind myself which direction this goes in. So this is my hoop for my 6 needle. Same Brother machine. But you see I have these little black marker things. And that's reminding me that when I slide the hoop onto the machine, it goes in this direction. So I'm looking at the little, they have a closed hole and then they have an open hole and then an open hole and a closed hole. So they are the same. So I need a marker and remind myself of that because it never fails. I will go and try to put the hoop on the machine this way. So I need those on all my hoops. All right. So you have your cutaway stabilizer hooped. Now, these baskets are ready to go to where it's going to come. You're essentially going to need 3 files and load all of those files on your USB stick or send them wirelessly to your machine, however your machine works. You're going to put those 3 files on your machine. Okay. Now, before we go and do that, I want to show you what the files look like, and I'm going to show you how I changed one of them. All right, where is my mouse? So let's go back to looking at my computer. And where is Embrilliance? There we go. Make this big so you can see. All right, what is this? This is the plain basket front, 8 by 12. So when you get the file here, okay, so I downloaded it, I unzipped it. It's named Files, English Instructions, Assorted Quilted Fabric Baskets. I am going to rename this because I am not going to remember I'm going to make it say Sweet Pea dash quilted fabric basket. Just for my organization, it helps me. So then I could look at that and know immediately what it is. When you open it, you get a folder for each size. So it comes in 5x7 through all the way to 9.5x14. So if you have a Brother Stellaire or a Baby Lock Meridian Altair, you can use that giant hoop and make yourself an even bigger basket. And then they have the PDF instructions. Now I'm going to go in 8x12. When you look at 8x12, there are 4 more folders in there. There's a folder for lining. You're going to use this for any basket you make. Then there's a folder for the patchwork basket, the plain basket, and the stripped or striped basket. So you pick which basket you want to make. And then when you pick it, there's a front and a back folder, because there's one file for the front and one file for the back. So let's see, if I do this, then you can see it a little better. So you're going to go grab the front and the back of whichever basket you want to make. And then the lining, you see the lining just has files in it, and depending the formats, based on which machine you have, you go grab that one. All right, so with that said, I have already opened up. This is the plain basket front 8x12. Okay, now these lines here, it looks like a wood grain, doesn't it? This is the quilting for the plain basket. Now here is the striped basket front. The quilting's different. And to be honest, I like this one better. And then the patchwork basket has 3 different quiltings because it has the spots for the 3 different fabrics. So, and just to go through the steps for the stripe one, they have this is tack down your batting. I think this is placement for your first fabric. Tack down your first fabric. Then I think you're going to lay your second fabric face down, and this line is going to catch it, like the edge of it, just lay it right on top of this. And then you're going to stitch this line on top of it. And then you're going to flip and fold your fabric over so the right side up is here. And then you're going to stitch this one, and it's going to tack it down. And then it's like rinse and repeat. Just keep flipping and folding until you get across. And then it does the quilting. Same for the patchwork. When you look at it, that's your batting placement. That's your placement for your first fabric. Tack down your first fabric. Then you probably lay a piece of fabric on top of this. Stitch this line and then flip and fold it over. And then it will tack it down. And then you lay some fabric here. Flip and fold it over. And then it will tack it down. And then the quilting. So that is what the files look like for the 3 different baskets. The first one's the simplest because we just put the fabric down and it quilts it. Oh, that's the back. Sorry. This one. It only has 3 steps. And that's it. So what I want to tell you for the plain basket and even the striped basket, you could put different quilting files on there if you want to. And you notice it doesn't have to fit this shape, because this has it already cut for the box corner bits right here. You could put any quilting design on here. So if you are a collector of Kimberbell background quilting or designs by Juju, edge to edge quilting designs, you can go grab something else and replace this step right here. Or on the striped basket, you can replace this step with something else that you want. So what I've done today, because I do like this more geometric quilting more than the wood grain quilting, what I have done is I went to my basket, I selected step 3, and I hit delete on my keyboard. Okay, so I've just deleted it, and I'm taking a mental note. It needs to be step 3. And I'm going to go to this one. I'm going to open up the steps in the objects panel here. I'm going to select this quilting. I'm going to go up here and hit copy, or you can hit Control C on your keyboard. I'm going to go back to my plain basket. I'm going to hit paste or Control V. And I've now got a file ready to do the plain one fabric basket with this quilting instead of the quilting that originally came with it. Now, that's the front of the basket. The back of the basket is a different file. There's a few more steps. So you have your first 3 are the same, but they have 2 more steps after so that you can attach the front to the back. In this design, the quilting is still step number 3, but it's not the last step, right? So I'm going to go and delete this one. And I should still have it copied, so I could just hit paste again. There we go. So I've pasted my new quilting design, but you see how it's stitching last? I need it to stitch as step number 3. So I'm going to highlight it and drag it. I think I did that wrong. Let me undo. Okay. Okay, so drag it right here where it's after step number 2. So you see the blue line here, and drop it there. And now it stitches as step number 3. Even though it says 2 here, you just look at the individual things. Like, don't even look at this 1, 2, and 3 here. Look at this 1, 2. This is step 3. This is step 4. This is step 5. So that I know it's going to stitch in the right spot. So I've already saved these 2 files to my USB stick and sent it and have it plugged in my machine. And then I never did anything with, this is the lining file. I didn't mess with that at all. I just sent that directly to my USB. So I just wanted to point that out to you, that you can have some fun with these baskets and change them up depending on which quilting file you have. So like if I go look in my embroidery designs, I have a folder for quilting. These are some designs by Juju ones I have. So I have this like fleur-de-lis one. And let me open up the PES. And it comes in a bunch of sizes. And one of the sizes is 8 by 12. They have a horizontal and a vertical. Let's do horizontal. I'm going to double click this and open it. And actually I need to turn it this way. Okay, so now you can see this is a fleur-de-lis quilting design that fits in an 8 by 12 hoop. I could essentially do the same thing. I can delete this step, go to this one, oops, select it, copy it, go here, paste it. So now I could have this quilting design on my basket instead of the other one that I had done. So you can have a lot of fun with this. It's okay if this design goes outside of like these little areas here where you end up not having any fabric, because it'll just look, the whole thing will look quilted. So I think that's a lot of fun that you can go and play with, and you can use Kimberbell ones, designs by Juju, or whoever else you know that sells quilting designs, and you just get one that's big enough to cover your whole hoop. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Sandra says her download is not showing a lining. I would contact Sweet Pea Embroidery. I'm sure they have a customer support section on their website that you can go and contact them, or have an email that you can get, like a customer service email, and tell them that you're missing something from the design. Okay, so now that we've gone over all the design portion of it, just to be clear, you don't need embroidery software if you want to make these baskets. These are literally ready to go to where you can just move the files to your USB or to your wirelessly send them to your machine and start stitching. But when you have software, it makes it a little more fun. Something else I forgot to mention is that you can add some writing to these baskets if you want to. So the way I'm looking at this right now, this is the bottom of the basket and this is the top of the basket. So if I wanted to highlight everything, and I could rotate it like this. Now I'm looking at it to where this is the top of the basket and this is the bottom. Say I wanted to embroider a label on here for like saying this is for my fabric. I could use my lettering tool, type in fabric, and pick a font that I like. And it would be something kind of big. Let's say that's too big. Let's do this. And I have to think about the fold over on the top. So I'd have to play with it and make sure. I think this would be good. So maybe even a little bit smaller. Something like this. Because I want to say this is the side. This is where it, like, from this point on is going to be the side of the basket. This is the side. This is the bottom. And then the fold over fabric. So you might want to have it to where your font only goes from here to here. And then is not too tall so that your fold over section doesn't cover it up. But like I can have this here and label my basket while it's in the hoop. And then when it stitches together, the back of the embroidery will get covered up with the lining. It will look all really well done. So you can add some lettering to your design as well. And you can have it as the last step for the front of the basket. If you're adding something to the back of the basket, you're going to want to do it after your quilting and before these last two steps. Okay. All right. So I think that was everything I wanted to tell you about the software and the design if you want to play with things. All right. Thank you so much, Sherry. I appreciate you. You're so sweet. Okay. So we have our stabilizer hooped. And we are now going to go to the machine and load the first step, the front of the basket. And I'm going to get this pulled up on my computer so I make sure I'm doing things right. Follow the directions. All right. So got my machine turned on. Before I started the live today, I went ahead and cleaned out my bobbin case. I oiled it. I got my design on my USB stick and plugged in. So the only thing I didn't do is thread it because I wanted to show you the thread and then I forgot. Here. So I'm going to do everything in this pretty pink colored thread. So really you could do every single step in one thread color. You can do all of the placement and piecing parts in this thread color and the quilting. So just pick whatever color you want to do for the quilting and just let that be your thread color for the whole thing. Now, this machine has 4 thread spools on the back, but it's still only a single needle. So what it's nice is if you're doing a design that has multiple colors, you can kind of put them up here in order and then change them out. So right now it's threaded with the silver color that you probably can't see. And these are built-in thread cutters up here, which is nice. So I just cut my silver. It's still threaded and going through the thread path and everything, but I have it here. And then I'm going to take the end of my pink and I'm just going to tie those in a knot. So you don't have to like technically re-thread the whole thing every time you want to change the thread color. I just tie it in a knot. I pull from the bottom. I take the thread out of the needle, so I'm not pulling through the eye of the needle. And now my pink thread came through. I hit my needle threader button and the little prong thing pops out. And now I'm threaded and ready with my color of choice. Or if you're, doing your next step, that's a different color. It's super easy to do that. I do like to double check though and make sure things on the thread path look right. They have these 2 like little clips, and sometimes the thread will be correct in the front of the clip, but the back of the clip, it's kind of come out a little bit, and that messes up everything. Like the machine gets very angry. Like, so if your tension doesn't look right or something's not stitching right, it's just the thread came out the back of that little clip. So always check that if you have this machine. All right, so now I have to pick my USB stick and find my design. Okay, but which one's which? I think the back one's first, the front one's here. I probably should have named it. I should have, no, because you can't see the writing of the name on this machine. So I just see a preview picture of it, but I do know it's the front one because it only has 3 steps. So that's how I know for sure that is the front one. So I have it loaded. I'm not editing. I'm not doing anything on the machine itself. I'm leaving it alone like that. And I'm hitting embroidery. So it is ready to go now. But this design doesn't have like a placement stitch for the batting and then a tack down stitch for the batting. They literally want you to place the batting before you stitch the first step. So that's what I'm gonna do. So according to the instructions, you're pretty much cutting a piece of batting that is bigger or a little bit bigger than your hoop. So like you can't mess it up. So I'll put the batting down, lock, and go. And because I am using the hoop that came with my machine, I didn't trace anything because I know that the machine knows I have this hoop in, so everything should be fine. But normally if I'm using any other hoop, or even sometimes when I am using the hoops that come with my machine, I'll trace the design to make sure that there's no chance that the needle will touch or hit my hoop on accident. So there is my batting. And that's it pretty much. And then we lay the, oh, we need to trim it. Okay, so we're going to take the hoop off the machine now, and we're going to trim the batting just like a piece of applique. All right, so get your favorite applique scissors. And just trim this. Okay, Karen said, X about the stabilizer. So you have some options. I used just a regular medium weight cutaway. I think this is going to help give your basket a little more structure because you have that cutaway in there. You could also use poly mesh. And actually, so for my first test run I did with this basket, I used medium weight cutaway for all 3 hoopings, for the front, the back, and the lining. This time around, I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm using the medium weight cutaway for the front and the back, but I'm going to use poly mesh for the lining. And I think tearaway is also an option too, to be honest, because you're not doing anything heavy with it. You're just quilting it. The tearaway would handle it, I think. So it's really like if you're in a bind and you don't have the other ones, just use tearaway just so that you can make it until you get more stabilizer in. All right, so this is trimmed. Now you're going to take your fabric that you are using for the bottom front of your basket and just lay this right on top. Okay. And you see, this is when my little arrows help me, because sometimes when I'm walking, I'll move my hoop around without thinking about it. And I want to make sure I load it on correctly. Okay. So now we can lock and go. And this is just like an outer perimeter stitch just to tack this fabric down. and then we'll stitch the quilting. And you can use like some chopsticks or a stiletto if you want to, while this is stitching, just to make sure your fabric is staying nice and smooth and don't get any bubbles in it. Okay, and now that that's done, okay, now hit lock and go again, and it's gonna, this is the quilting stitch. So this is the last step of this hooping. So you can see it can go by really quick. No, and when this is done, I need to turn the light off on that machine because it's too bright for y'all. Oh, I see Trish had to leave, but I didn't get to tell her hi. Hi, Trish, if you're watching the replay. Could you use an adhesive spray to hold the fabric down? Absolutely, Candy. You definitely can. You can use like a temporary basting spray. You can use some embroidery tape. Anything if you want to make sure. Usually with these giant pieces like this, where it's like covering the whole hoop, I usually don't have any trouble with it staying where it is supposed to stay. But if you're ever worried about that, then yeah, definitely. I like this geometric design. That is cute. Hi, Lori. Okay, now I can catch up in the chat. Oh, yeah, Joanna makes a good point. If you are contacting Sweet Pea, they are based in Australia. So if they're not answering you right away, it's because they may be sleeping. Big time zone difference. Oh, hey, Peggy, you're close to New Orleans. So no, I don't have a store. As much as I have tried to convince my husband to like let me open up like a quilt shop. No. So yeah, all my work is virtual. But I want to talk to all my experienced quilting friends. I have never been on like a quilt retreat. I hear people talking about them, like some of my online sewing friends, like Belle, my friend Belle in Arkansas. She like has a whole building and she hosts quilting retreats where people can like rent her space and have their own retreats and stuff. And then I see a lot of like cruises. Like I know Becky Thompson goes on all these cool quilting retreat cruises. I want in on this action, but I want to start with something local and small. And especially like my husband left last night to go hunting for the 4th time this month. And so I threatened him. I'm like, I'm about to start leaving every weekend to go on quilting retreat. Like, it's not fair. So all of my friends, even if you're not local to where I am in Louisiana, tell me about how quilting retreats work, what it's like, and how long you go for, and all that good stuff. I want to hear all the details because I want to find one. Okay, Lori says you must go to one. Cindy, I'm just using regular quilt batting, like warm and natural, 100% cotton batting. That's all I'm using. Oh yeah, and Karen said when we're talking about Australia, Sweet Pea in Australia, and it's probably tomorrow already. Yep. Okay, let's see. Kristen. Oh, Kristen has a great tip. Okay, so another way to help give your bag a little more structure is to add Pellon SF101 to the front and back. That is a very great tip. Okay, so the front is done. and it's kind of hard for you to see the quilting. Maybe on my other camera you'll see it. But it's super cute. Can you see the quilting? Yeah. So I like it. You can do it in a more contrasting color if you really want it to stand out, but I like the subtle. Very cute. All right, so now we're done with this. We're going to pop it out the hoop and put it on the side. Now you're going to grab another piece of stabilizer. I'm doing the cutaway again. Another piece of stabilizer and hoop that. And now we'll go back to the machine and we're going to load the back of the design. Oops, got to change the camera for you to see it, right? Come back. Okay. I always use my ironing mat as a mouse pad because my mouse works the best on there. Okay, so got it back on there. I'm going to go back to my home screen. Okay. Back to my USB. And this is the back of my design. And I can hit set. No, this is not the back. It only shows 3. Is it showing 3 steps? Embroidery. Nope, that's not the back. I clicked the front one again. Okay, this one has 5 steps. So this is the back of the design. All right, so same procedure. The first 3 steps are exactly the same. We are gonna put our batting down before we even start. Okay, and then lock and go. And again, for this spot, if you're worried, you can put some temporary spray adhesive on your stabilizer or on the back of your batting so that you know that this lays down nice and smooth. Now, while that design is stitching, we are going to trim the one we took out the hoop. Let me double check, but I think we're just going to trim this big outer box here. And we need to do this first. So took this off and we're going to trim the batting just like we did before. Okay. So that is done. We're going to lay our fabric over the top again. And then we'll go let it run. We got 2 steps. One is just the perimeter stitch. And then after that, we'll do the quilting, just like we did for this one. So I'm going to go do that and then come back and we'll work on this. And let me double check my instructions real quick. Okay, yeah, so we're trimming this with a 1/2 of an inch seam, giving us a 1/2 of an inch beyond the stitch here. So I'm going to put that stitch on my 1/2 inch mark on my ruler. Can't see good. Okay. Like that. And we're going to trim this all the way around. Okay, that looks good. All right, let me go press the button so it will do the quilting now. That looks good. Good. All right, now the back piece is quilting. Okay, so this is our front piece ready to go. And I have this pink outline stitch. That's sorry, it's a little hard for y'all to see. But now this is ready and we're going to be putting it on top of what we're stitching right now. See that? I keep forgetting to turn that light off. Okay, and I saw Stacy say something. I missed it. Hi, Stacy. Let's see. So Sandy said she missed it. So the quilting design that I'm doing, it came with Sweet Pea. This wasn't the one that was intended for this basket, though. They had 3 options for baskets, and all 3 options have different quilting. And so you can kind of play with it and move it around. And then if you have other quilting designs, you can replace them. Okay, ooh, Susan's telling me about quilting retreats. They go to an old Catholic school. They turned into a retreat center. 6 days, 5 nights, 400. That included my own room by myself and 3. Hey, that's a good deal. Let's see. Okay, so Karen went to one not for quilting but for hand embroidery. That sounds nice. Annie, we're making a fabric quilted basket that is mostly in the hoop, but then we're going to break out the sewing machine and finish it up. Let's see. Joanna saying her husband used to go hunting too. Chris is hunting for ducks. He is down in Venice, all the way at the bottom of the mouth of the Mississippi River, hunting ducks with my daddy and my uncle. Okay. So, okay, Susan, people are asking, where is the retreat you told us about where they used the old school to have it? Tell us the town and state. Okay. Hankinson, North Dakota. I'm way far away from there. Way far away. So I'm thinking my luck, I'm pretty sure the quilt shop in Lafayette, Louisiana, I could probably get some info on quilt retreats there. I want to say I saw something about it the last time I went to that shop. And I'm also going to guess around the Biloxi, Mississippi area, they'll probably have some options. So I'm gonna have to look into it. Oh, but I met a lady. So I have a quilt shop here in New Orleans, and I met, I know the owner, and I talk with her all the time, but I met one of her employees the last time I went, and she told me about a quilt association, like a South Quilt Association. I can't remember. I have the website. She told me the website when I was at the shop, and I put it in my phone, but I don't think it should still be there, but I'll find it. Anywho, I have to look. That's probably a place I need to look. Okay, so we have now quilted the back of the basket. So this is now where we're going to take the front piece that we just trimmed and put it right on top of the back piece. So I'm going to take this off the machine, and let's go do that at the table so I know that I'm lining things up right. And in retrospect, I probably would have done better doing this outer bit in a more contrasting thread color. All right, so this is the back. This is the second thing we're stitching now that's on the machine. This was the front piece that we already stitched. It was only 3 steps. And then we trimmed it with this outer perimeter stitch. We did a 1/2 inch beyond that, and that's where we trimmed it. So now this has all the same 3 steps. You could see it better on this side. It still has that perimeter stitch, and it has this. What I want to do is I want to line this up perfectly on here, but on the front bit where we're doing right sides together, I want to line that up on there and then maybe tape it in place. So I'm going to use this corner as my reference here. But let me do one. Yeah, this is all crooked. Okay. This corner to this corner. Okay, that looks good. And then I'm going to double check down here. Those look like they're going right where it needs to be. Okay, so everybody got what I'm doing here? I'm just making sure this perimeter stitch is like really going right on top of each other. Yeah, I keep moving it just a smidge. Okay. And then tape that in place. Now we're going to go back to the machine, and it is going to stitch a basting stitch around the whole thing. And it's supposed to be a longer stitch so that once you've basted it, you can double check, okay, did I really line it up well? And if you didn't, you can unpick it and try again. But it doesn't have to be perfect, like really, as long as it's on top, you know, close. Like all my, what I say with everything, close enough. It's close enough. Okay, so it's going to do that basting stitch, and then basically right after that, it's going to do a heavier stitch going around the perimeter of the basket, with including the box corners. Okay, so let's go back to the machine. Lost my mouse. Okay. Sorry, I'm standing in front of you. Okay, that is ready. And lock and go. Oh yeah, perfect. You could tell I'm doing good because I could see it's going right on top of the existing stitch line. It went off a little bit there. That's fine. Oh yeah, it looks great. Okay, so that's perfect. In my eyes. So now that that is done, now we can go. If this doesn't look good to you, that's when you can unpick it, but hopefully it's not, it's good enough. Trust me. Now we're going to stitch the heavier stitch going around the perimeter and getting those box corners. And that's really going to attach the front to the back of the basket. All right. Gopher's mom said Tammy Ernest, who is a YouTuber, just opened a retreat in Indiana. Okay. And then Susan said she went to one where they made her cook her own meals and she didn't want to be cooking. She wanted to be sewing. All right. Check my upper and bobbin thread. So this is when I check and see if my thread has come out of that lip. No, it hasn't. Everything looks good. So that means my bobbin thread is probably, oh no. Yeah, the bobbin thread ran out. So I'm going to hit close. I'm going to cut. I got to press the lock key. All right, cut. Okay. And yeah, it missed. It went out there. And my bobbin is empty. So let's put a new bobbin. So these are the Quilted Magna Glide bobbins. They click right in. But I need to get, I can't, they don't have a loose piece. It's done so well. There we go. Okay. That clicks in, and then I just pull it through the little path on the bobbin case. Put that in. And see, technically I didn't even need to take the hoop off. That's another thing with the free arm machines is you can change the bobbin without taking the hoop off. Okay, but I wanted y'all to see. All right, so I really left off back here and I need to back up. So this is when it's really important that you know how to navigate on your machine. Now for Brother and Baby Lock, all of the controls kind of look the same. I have a picture of a needle with a minus/plus. If you have a Brother or Baby Lock, that's the symbol you're looking for. You click on that and they'll usually have some sort of navigation to where you can move ahead an individual number of stitches, go backwards an individual number of stitches, or you can jump ahead or go backwards entire color steps. So in this case, I want to go backwards a number of stitches. So I'm just going to go 10 at a time. So I'm going to hit minus 10 until I get to where it broke right around here. I'm going to go back 10 more just to make sure I'm overlapping this space well where the bobbin thread ran out. Okay, maybe even 10 more just to be safe. All right, so then I hit OK, lock, and go. All right, and so it's going to finish going all the way around. All right, Renee's saying we need to have our own retreat. I like that idea. Okay, so we are now done with the second hooping, which is getting the back of the basket to the front of the basket. So let's go do the last hooping, which is to do the lining, which is a super easy one. as well. Okay, so I'm going to unhoop this, and we're going to put it on the side because we're going to trim it. Now the lining, this is where I'm changing things up from my first go round. I'm going to use poly mesh no-show lightweight cutaway for this hooping to try something different, because I remember when I was sewing the lining, I got a little aggravated with it because of the cutaway stabilizer. So let's try this and see if it makes me like it more. All right, make sure your stabilizer is nice and tight. I think I wasn't completely flat when I did this, and that's why it's misbehaving. Okay. There we go. Oh no, I'm not doing very good at this, am I? Stay where you're supposed to stay. I need to tighten this up big time. Okay, now I'm gonna push this where it's nice and flush. And I'm gonna tighten up these guys. And your machine should come with some kind of tool that allows you to tighten these a little easier than it is using your fingers. Even the flatbed machines have some kind of little flat metal piece that you can use to tighten the screw on your hoop. Okay, so this is done. Let's go to the machine. Oh, I need to change the camera so that you can see. There we go. I'm gonna put my hoop on and go back to the home screen. Okay, back to my USB. And this one's named a little different. This is it right here. Pattern extends to the outside of the embroidery frame. If you plan to add more pattern, rotate the pattern combination. So it's given me the option to rotate it 90 degrees. So now it fits, and I hit set, and I hit embroidery. And there are only 2 steps for the lining. So let me go back and double check the PDF to make sure I'm doing this right. So place fabric B on top the hoop, right side up, and stitch down. Okay, so before, just like with the batting, before we even start, we're going to take our lining piece and put it face up. Okay, and now it's going to stitch a big perimeter stitch, tacking it down. Okay, and now we're going to take our other lining piece and put it right side down on top of this. Step over here, and I have this ombre fabric, so I'm going to make sure it matches up with the colors going the same way. I should have cut it to where it was like lighter at the top and got darker when I got to the bottom, but that's okay. Okay, so this is my other piece of lining fabric that I am putting right side down. And now it will attach those 2 lining pieces. And that's it. And then we'll take it out. So we still need to trim. Okay, so for the piece that we've already put together for the front and the back of the bag, we are going to remove any excess stabilizer and trim the seams back 1/4 of an inch, including the squares at the corner. Okay, so now we're doing 1/4 of an inch. And so I'm looking at this heavier stitch here. That's the actual bag. Yes. And I'm putting that line on my 1/4 stitch, my 1/4 inch line on my ruler. Okay. I'm going to get all these sides first, and then I'll do the box corners. Okay, so now I'll do this. I can pull that out. There we go. So now this is trimmed, and this is our, this is not right. I did something wrong. I was not supposed to place my fabric for that basting stitch for some reason. That can't be right. Oh, no, I don't know what I did. Let's go back. Okay. So we did that. We did that. Now place the front of the basket on top. Try matching the border. Tape in place. Stitch. Let me show you what I'm looking at. Right here. So we did this. This is the back. Okay, we put the top on top. We taped it in place. Stitch the basting stitch to keep the front and back in place. The long stitches make it easy. Once you are happy with the front and the back matching, stitch the back together. It'll only stitch the sides and stitch a basting stitch for the square corners. You'll use these as stitching guide when you're done. Okay, remove any excess stabilizer, trim the seams back, unpick the long sides of the blocks and unpick the basting stitch at the top edge. Also remove the basting stitch on the corners. Okay, I forgot I did that part when I did this before. So I was thinking, oh no, I did something wrong. But I just don't have a good memory. Where is my seam ripper? I know I used it the other day. Probably, there it is. Like I have too many things in here. Oh, y'all not looking at what I'm looking at. Okay, so we need to, when we do this, we just have that long basting stitch is there. So this is easy to undo. Yeah, I totally forgot I did this when I made my small basket. I was getting nervous. Okay. Okay, so now we have the inside, but we gotta undo these stitches as well so that we can get our box corners right. Okay, trying to get it all the way there. I think I got it. There we go. All right, so that one's open now. And let me see, I'm missing all the comments. Okay. Patricia says she has about 10 seam rippers and she can never find any of them. That's me with scissors. Y'all see me. I did put to use my new little magnetic one I got. So I got the Missouri Star Quilt Company Christmas Advent calendar. And one of the presents was a magnetic kind of needle minder, but it's cool because it's magnet on one side, but the other side is a suction cup. So I was able to put it on my Stellaire, and it's cute because it looks like a little kitty cat head. I got it on my Stellaire, and I got my little tweezer scissors that I always use. I got them there. So it's like they're not going anywhere. They are staying there. That is where they belong. And they are always there when I need them. Okay. The only part I don't like about this step is the all the little threads that are happening after. When you got to unpick basting stitches like that. But it's all going to get hidden, to be honest, so it really doesn't matter. Okay, we've unpicked the things. We have now made a nice little mess that I will clean up later. Okay, let's get the lining. So the lining will be similar, except we don't have to worry about unpicking the top because it never stitched. We just have to unpick this section. Okay, so we're going to take this out. And make sure I don't cut anything I'm not supposed to. I tend to lay things. My craft table is always a hot mess, and I end up laying things on top of things, and then I forget and I start cutting. All right, so the lining, I think we do the same thing, 1/4 of an inch around the stitch line. Okay. So now we have lining and basket. We need to seam rip these bits here. Now it's coming back to me using the seam ripper. But I made my small basket. Okay, so that one's done. Okay. And this one's done. All right, now we need to put some things together. You're going to need clips maybe, or pins, and our sewing machine. And I am going to try to maneuver some things around here. I'm going to put my sewing machine on my table and move my camera where y'all can see it. Because I'm going to use my little Juki. It's not little. A Juki sewing machine I got behind me. I'm going to move to this table so y'all can see it better. But let's get everything ready first. Okay, so we have our lining. We have it open here. Oh, you know what I forgot? To trim this one. There we go. So now, lining, basket, unpick the top so you can open it. On the outer bits, unpick the box corners, the lining, the top is already open, and just unpick the box corners. All right, and then also get your 2 pieces of fabric that is your fold over bit. Okay. I am double checking the instructions now because I am terrible at doing things. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember how I did that, and then I don't do it right. For example, I totally forgot about the seam ripper. Okay, so now that we have all these pieces done, we're going to box the corners for the outer bit of the basket and the lining of the basket. So we could do that first. Then we'll prepare the fold over bit, and then we'll put it all together. So the box corners is easy. And what you're going to do is pull it open like this and then smush it flat. So y'all see how I did that? So you have it like this, pull it open, and now lay it flat this way. And you want this seam to line up with this seam. And what you can do is either make one fold over one way and this one fold over another way, or you can open them up both in the middle. So what you can do before you even start, and I think I did this, was I pressed all my seams open on the basket and on the lining. So if you want to go ahead and get your iron warmed up, that might help a little bit. So let me put this back. And you'll kind of have to play with it so that you can get it to open. So you see here with the liner, you have the stabilizer on one side and not the other. And that's when I remember getting aggravated with the cutaway. And so poly mesh is a little more friendly when it comes to being softer and easier to fold things. Okay, so that seam open. I'm trying not to make a crease there. Now I keep making creases. There you go. So now when you have those done, now when you pull your box corners, this is the lining, I'll just make these 2 spots line up and these 2 folds open in so you can see better. These two folds here are right on top of each other. So one more time. Your liner is flat. Pull the corner open. Line up those two pieces and smush them together. And now I'm going to use a clip from my handy dandy little fabric basket to hold that in place. And I'm going to sew from here to here. And you can put pins or clips to hold things where you want. And we're going to do the same thing to this side. Lie it flat, line up those two seams, and clip them. Yay, Trish is back. Okay, so this is the liner. That's what it's going to look like. But we have to sew those bits. So I'm going to put that off to the side. And we're going to go back to the front and back. And I still need to, I'm going to press these seams open a little bit. If I can get them open, goodness gracious. Okay, there's one. Come on, fabric. Okay. Can't get them to stay open. There we go. And this last one. Oh, Trish, you have to go get your gumbo supplies. Where do you live, Trish? That's a good idea. We should make gumbo this weekend. So who else is going to be affected by the ice apocalypse that is coming? That's what the people over here are calling it. So I live almost at the bottom of Louisiana, right south of New Orleans. And we are not accustomed to cold weather here. It is actually currently 70 degrees outside. And, you know, the coldest it gets sometimes at night, you know, is in the upper 30s. But that is it for us. Now, last January, we had an actual blizzard come and we had like 12 inches of snow. It snowed from like 7 in the morning till like 6 in the evening. And that is the most snow I've ever seen in my life. It was amazing. So the kids now think that's going to happen on a regular basis. And I told them, no, that is a once in a lifetime thing. And now it's going to freeze this weekend. So they think we're going to have another blizzard, but we're not. I'm being told that it is going to rain all day Sunday here. And then it's going to freeze Sunday night. It's not going to actually snow. It's just going to turn everything that was wet to ice is what's going to happen. So, we should all go make gumbo to deal with the ice that is going to be a cluster on Monday morning. All right, so I got the front back of the basket. I pressed all the little seams open here, and now doing the same thing. Pull the box corner open, press it flat, line up your seams, and clip them. Hey, Marina. Yeah, so that's something I didn't even think about. So with these kind of ice storms, it's possible to knock the power out. Like down here, it's like if a hurricane comes, that's when the power gets knocked out. So we all have generators because we're used to living through hurricane season every year, which is, I guess, preparing us now for the possible ice situation. All right, let's see. Ice in Dallas too. Yep. Minnesota, Susan, minus 45 degrees and no school. Oh, no, thank you. God bless you, Susan. All right, yeah, Joanna's in central Indiana, 8 to 12 inches. And Trish says, if it sprinkles here, some dummy hits the power pole. No hurricane needed. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, wait, I wanted to see. I missed where Trish said she was located. Northern California. That's way over there. May get some sun tomorrow. Okay, I got a question for you then. If you are not from the South and you're making gumbo, what are you using as your base for your gumbo? Are you using tomatoes? Because if you are, that's not right. I saw where we went on a Disney cruise and they had gumbo and it was like tomato soup and it was like, no, this not how you do it. All right. Okay, I'm getting distracted. Let me go look at. All right, so we are ready with the box corners ready. And then you just need to get these two pieces ready. I am now going to get my sewing machine set up for y'all. So hang tight. We are going to move it. Where are we going to move it? Let's move it over here. I think this will work. This is my Juki. I usually keep it there. That should work. I just have a cord that I'm probably going to trip over. All right, now let's move this camera that was showing you the embroidery machine, the sewing machine instead. Okay, that should work. Where'd the mouse go? Okay, y'all tell me if this looks. Yay, Trish says, no, butter and flour, no tomatoes, cook that roux for a long time. Yes, I use oil and flour. And sometimes I'll use, this may be gross, but bacon fat, bacon grease. I'll do like a 1/4 cup of bacon fat, a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil, and then 1/2 cup of flour. And I'll make my roux with that. Okay, now y'all could see the sewing machine, yes? All right, and all my stuff on my table in the meantime. Let's put the foot on the floor, turn it on. Is it turned on? Now it's turned on. And this is just a straight stitch sewing machine. I got it with intentions of learning to make bags because this is like a semi-industrial sewing machine. I got it with the intention of making bags so that like it could sew through like several layers of vinyl and stuff like that. But it's also a great machine for piecing and also like machine quilting. So it's kind of great for all things, but it's just a straight stitch, nothing fancy to it. All right, so I am going to put my box corner piece under there and lower the foot and I'm going to do a back stitch. And it's kind of nice because you have a line stitched into the, whoa, throwing things over here, stitched into the stabilizer here, and you can just follow that as a guide of where to sew. So if you were terrible at sewing straight lines, like I definitely can be, you can just follow that existing stitch line and get to the end and back stitch and cut. Ate something. Okay. I had something happen here, so let me check the bobbin. I just have some thread down there that's not supposed to be down there. Right there. I can't even see to where that is. But there's some thread I see coming out the needle plate, but I don't see nothing in my bobbin. Let me move my needle. I don't know. I haven't taken this machine apart like I've done my embroidery machine, so I might have to learn how. Because they have some thread stuck in here that's not supposed to be in here. There's one piece. I can't grab this one. Sorry. Oh, it's always something, you know. Oh, they got thread. Yeah, I need to clean this machine. They got little pieces of thread all in here. Okay, let me see if it will come out with this next stitch and give me trouble. Now what I do with my bag. Here we go. Okay. All right, get to the end and back stitch and cut. And not giving me any trouble, but I still see that one piece of thread that's not supposed to be there. So yeah, after this is over, I'll take this needle plate on and see about cleaning under there. All right, so we have our outer basket. Corners are boxed, so that's done. Now we'll do the same thing for the lining. And a back stitch. Back stitch. back stitch. Back stitch and cut. Okay, so we have the liner and the outside of the bag, corners are box. So now let's get to this part. So this is fabric C. This is your fold down lip. So I got two matching pieces and we're going to put them right sides together and we're going to stitch the two short ends forming a ring. So we're going to stitch this side and then we're going to turn it around and we're going to stitch this side and then we're going to press those seams open. So again, stitch, back stitch, back stitch, and then turn it over. So we stitch this side. Now we're going to stitch this side. All right, back stitch at the front. And at the end. Okay, so now we have created a ring and let's go back over here now. So we've just did the front right sides together and stitch these ends. So you can press these seams open. All right. And next, we are going to fold the long raw edges of the ring and the wrong sides together and press. And this is going to be the top. So essentially what we're doing is we're folding half of it over all the way around. So we're creating this. Does that make sense? So you've got your edges, your short edges, sewn and ironed, and then fold it to where you have your pretty side showing, but it folded over, creating a band. And then what you want to do is look where you've sewn and line up those seams. And you can clip that and clip this one for now. Okay, so this is our top ring for our basket. And let's get the other pieces now and then make sure we put it all together correctly. So now you can leave your liner alone, but you want to take your basket and turn it right side out. So you just like push out those corners and open up your basket. So it should look like this. Okay. Now you want to take your liner and put it inside your basket where the wrong sides are touching together. So you're seeing all the prettiness. And you also want to take the seam for the liner and line it up with the seam for the outer part of the basket. Right there. And you can clip that in place. And kind of push your liner to where it's fitting in how it should. And now this side, put your seams together and clip. All right. Now that you have the outer basket and the liner laid into each other, oh, my mother-in-law's calling me. You are going to take your top fold over rim that you made, and you're going to put it with the folded side going down and the raw edge coming up. So you're at the top of your basket here is all raw edges, right? And now you can take that seam that you had pinched there and now clip it with these. So all of these seams are lining up, the liner, the outer, and the folded edge. Okay, and now you are going to clip all the way around these 3 pieces. And again, all the raw edges are going to the top here. Okay, and I'm lining up the other seam with this one. And some issues I ran into when I was sewing my first basket is sometimes like I felt like I had a little bit more lining and fold over bit than I did basket. So I think I had like one little wrinkle when I was sewing because I felt like they didn't lie super flat with each other. So just play with it when you're clipping it to see, make sure you're pulling it where it's all lying nice and flat, and we'll stitch nice. There we go. I think I'm gonna do better on this one. Okay, but now we have all 3 of those pieces in there. And now we're gonna go sew right here, going all the way around with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. All right. And this is me not tripping on my cords everywhere. Oops. Let's go ahead and put these back in my basket. Okay. So I'm going to slide this under. Lower my presser foot. And stitch, back stitch, and go all the way around. And as it goes around, I'm going to take my clips out and kind of pull it forward. You see how like I'm getting a wrinkle here? I feel like that's going to happen no matter what I do. And I keep drifting off to the side. Let me cut. I keep drifting this way. Let me get back on track. No one's going to see this seam, so it's not a big deal. Okay, let me stitch, back stitch, and hold from here. Go around. still drifting. There we go. I'm not doing the best job, but it is fine. And I'm going to have a wrinkle. It's okay. Got back to where I started. Back stitch. And cut. Okay. So I have a wrinkle right there, which I'm not supposed to have, but it is going to be fine, and you will see. All right. So here is my sewn together a basket, and we're just going to take this bit and fold it over the top, and it's going to hide all that raw edge and that bad seam that I made. And you could barely even see my little wrinkle right here. And got some threads to cut. And that's it. So now I have a new big fabric basket. Let's see. So this is the, what is it, 8x12 basket that we made. So this one is a good deal bigger, and I think great for some like fat quarters. And this one is the 5x7 one. So you could see like how big of a difference these two are. So cute, huh? So there's so many different little combinations that you can make with these. Let me put this right here. There are so many fun combinations that you can make with these, with different kinds of fabrics and then different liners on the inside. So I see my ombre did not work the way I intended it to, but it's fine. But so many things that you can put in here, and then you can make a bunch of them and they can all fit in each other and then pull them out when you need them. So yay. All right. So I am not the best at sewing, obviously. But if you are like me and you've done embroidery and not so much sewing, this is a great first project to try it out with, because we really just have to box the corners and then sew all the 3 pieces together at the top. And you're going to hide all of that when you flip this over. And then if you want, you could definitely just sew this all together from the get-go, not using your embroidery machine. But it's fun adding the batting and the quilting and everything, and that it kind of almost creates a pattern for you on the embroidery machine, so you don't have to cut out. You'll cut out your fabrics after, and the pattern is already stitched into the fabric. So I think that's kind of cool. All right, you like it? Yay! All right. Oh, this is cute. So Marina said this will be perfect in a nursery. I know you're going in grandma mode. I'm so excited for you. Yes, this is perfect for in the nursery. You can put onesies, you can put diapers, you can put socks, all, burp cloths, bibs. You can make all of these. And then I think the 9.5 by 14 hoop on the Stellaire will be even nicer and bigger, so that you can make some stuff. Let's see, Joanna has the same machine. So she says she loves her Juki 2010. It's a workhorse. The feature she misses is the bobbin running low. So many times she's sewn without the bobbin. Yes, yes. I was actually very nervous that the bobbin was going to run out while we're sewing, because I don't have an extra one made. And it's probably going to take me 15 minutes to remember how to wind a bobbin on this machine because I don't use it very often. Yay. I know. I love Star loves that you get various sizes in the baskets. I love that too. All right. What else? Did I miss anything earlier? Let's see. Okay. Does the bed of your machine come off and give you a free arm for sewing? Are you talking about for the Juki? No. This one is like solid. Let's see if I could back up. So this is solid right here. So none of this comes off. So yeah, it's a bit wide, so you don't get a little tiny area of a free arm for sewing. But I see tons of people make bags with it, but they end up having to do, you know, this method of sewing like this instead of being able to put it under the free arm. But yeah, that's the Juki TL 2010Q. And I got it from Sewing Machines Plus. Okay. Oh, the Juki foot pedal will cut threads. Use your heel. Let's see. I didn't know that. Yay, thanks for telling me. I love that because I've seen people use this machine in videos, and I noticed like I'm like, wow, they're good at pressing that button. It's in the foot pedal. Yay. Oh, that made me so happy now. Thanks. So yeah, I just pressed the back of it. Awesome, awesome. Okay, wait, I'm checking the comments that I missed when I was sewing. Thank you, Joanna. Okay, so Karen says this happens to her too. So somehow the lining gets baggy. I just go back and resew the side seams a bit wider to take in some of the bagginess. That's a good idea. And I guess it depends because like the outer part of the bag had a stitch line for me, like a guide to follow, to stitch. The liner does not. So then it's really like, okay, is your seam allowance matching? And I need to get the foot. I have it on my Stellaire. I'm better at sewing on my Stellaire. I think I'm a little more used to it, and it has the feet that help me a lot. And that is the 1/4 inch foot with the guide on it. I need one of those for this machine. And I've also heard the compensating foots are really good for this machine if you use it to sew on your binding for your quilt. So I need to get some more feet for this machine and play with it more. Okay. Let's see, now I'm missing everything. Oh, yay, Marina's reminded me. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this project. And if you did, you should come join us over in my VIP membership group. In there, we do a private Zoom class every month just for members, and I give an embroidery design every month. And when you join, you get, it's coming up on 5 years, guys. We've been doing this membership. Almost 5 years worth of previous classes and previous embroidery designs that you can go and look at. There's so many fun things that we've done in the VIP membership over the years. And this month, we're having our class next Tuesday, January 27th, I think, if I'm remembering right. And we are making Valentine's in the hoop treat bags. And they have a little window in them so that you can see what's inside. But this is the VIP project for January. So the design is in the group that you get to download, and then we'll teach a step-by-step class on how to make this on Tuesday. So come check it out. It's really fun. And then my goal for my goal for one day is to do more digitizing classes in the VIP membership. So as of right now, I have a few, like we've collected a few over time. And I have a whole section in the member library where you can go see all our past digitizing classes using Embroidering Stitch Artists. And I'm hoping to add more to that, and not in a way where maybe we'll have 2 classes a month, like one is project-based and one is software-based. So goals one day. But for the time being, I'm very, very focused on a new course that I'm making. So if you're not familiar, I have a few online courses. So like everything we do here on YouTube is free for anyone to come watch. But I know I struggle with this sometimes I want to know something and I get very frustrated searching for the answer, or we talked about all kinds of things today where maybe, in my case, like I would be searching through this video to look for the one thing that I want to know how to do. So I'm a big fan of online courses when it comes to really wanting to learn a specific thing. And so I put together a course all about how to use an embroidery machine, like the basics, everything I wish someone would have taught me before I got my embroidery machine, or like when I got my embroidery machine. And it's all like broken up into small chunks to where you can go and watch them whenever you want and learn everything. So that course is called From Start to Stitch. And then I made a course all about how to use Embroidering Essentials embroidery software. And same thing, like we go through all the tools of Essentials, little short videos showing you how to do everything. So like even in my own case, because there are things in Essentials I don't use often, but when I made the course, I was tried to be as thorough as possible. I find myself going back and rewatching some of the lessons that I made, like on envelopes. I never use envelopes, but I forget, some of the things, and I'll go back. So it's nice because you have it there to reference, in case you watch the course, you do everything in it, but then, there are tools that maybe you don't use often. You can go back and reference it, and you know exactly where the information you want is, because it's all like detailed, outlined and everything. Anywho, I'm making a new course on how to use Embroidering Enthusiast. So my head is in the sand right now, focusing on making all the lessons for that course. And it is going to come out at the end of February is the deadline I have made for myself. The last week of February is when I'm going to open enrollment, and I'm only going to open enrollment for 1 week. So this is the first time I'm releasing this course, and I like to just have one group of students going through it at a time so that we can all work together and I can get feedback from y'all, and make sure everybody is learning how I'm hoping and intending they will through the lessons. So the course is going to get open enrollment the last week of February, and then we will go through it 1 week at a time through each module, and it will be done at the end of middle of April 10th, something like that. After that, then my brain will be able to function more to talk about other things that we can do in the membership. But that's just a little spiel on what I have going on right now. So super fun sip and stitch today. Love the baskets. Next week, VIP membership class on making in the hoop Valentine treat bags. Our next YouTube sip and stitch will be the last Friday of February. That's going to be actually the last day the course is going to be open for enrollment. And we are going to go over how to make quilt labels, which I'm really excited about, because I know a lot of people that quilt, only get the embroidery machine or use the embroidery module on their sewing machine strictly to make quilt labels. So I think that will be a fun project to do together. And then we'll have our February VIP class next month too. So lots of fun stuff coming up. And I'm super excited about finishing the course so that I can show y'all. And then getting into all the sew along projects that I have planned for this year, because I have 3 sew along projects that I want to do as well, that I'm pushing off until the enthusiast course is ready, so that I make sure I keep them. I get distracted very easily. All right, so let's see. Yay, Patricia said she would love more digitizing in the VIP class. Yeah, that's my hope. I'm hoping after the enthusiast class, we can do more digitizing, but I don't want to take away from the project classes. So I'm thinking about having both. Okay, so Sandy X, how can I get the Embrilliance class? So the one that I have done already is called Embroidery Essentials. And that's all about how to use Embrilliance Essentials. And that is available. I think I have a link for it down below in the description box, but you can always find it on my website, carlybell.com. So you can go check it out there. And also my From Start to Stitch course is also on my website, and to sign up for the VIP membership. All that stuff's going to be in the online shop on my website. All right, yay, Patty's looking forward to the quilt labels. So Trish, yeah, she says she strictly bought the Stellaire to do quilt labels. Didn't last long. She's an embroidery fool now. Yay! That's awesome. Yeah, I know a lot of people that may have bought like a combo machine and never put the embroidery unit on there. Like they quilt, they sew. That's what they do. Where I'm like the opposite. Like I just did embroidery and now I'm using the sewing feature a little bit. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Yay. All right, guys. Well, I think that's all I have for you today. And like I said, let me look at the calendar. I know the next Sip and Stitch is the last Friday in February. That is going to be the 27th. That is when our next YouTube Sip and Stitch is going to be. And I have updated the Sip and Stitch homepage, and I have everything through May, I think, on there, showing you when our classes, the YouTube tutorials will be, and what the topic is all on the Sip and Stitch homepage now. So you can go look ahead and see what we're going to be doing. And then, as always, these are all recorded, so you can go back and watch the replay, whatever you want. Same thing for the VIP membership Zoom classes. If you can't make the Zoom class live, they're all recorded and put in the library for you to go back and watch whenever you want. Okay, everyone, thanks so much for joining me today. I'm so excited to do all these fun new projects in 2026. And y'all take care, and I will see you next time. All right, bye, everyone.